Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Planning Traffic. We do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So please share with your friends, anybody that's in the cars, boats, trucks, or anything that you put gas in. Let them know about our show here, Planning Traffic. We got my man Ray, Motor Mouth Radio. What's up, Ray?
Yeah, make sure everybody gets a clock or a watch that works so they remember what time it is so they're not running late. I got too many damn things to do, man.
Hey, you're retired. You're supposed to be relaxing.
I was. And you know what it is? This is the first time I turned the computer on today. So
yeah.
Then it's like, you got to wade through all the stuff that comes in and like, holy crap, we're late. But you're right.
I was watching a YouTube video and I'm sitting here asleep. I'm like, oh, man, gotta get up.
I was just watching a long one, too. It was like an hour and a half. I was watching it before I came down and I'm watching the clock and like, all right, gotta go.
Glad you made it.
It's Thursday again, man. How'd that happen?
Man, Ray, it comes fast.
Yeah. I mean, we've been agreeing on that every week. It's literally like just the pages are flying off the calendar.
Yeah.
I guess I should look at a calendar because it looks like let's see, today is the 8th. Yeah, in 2 weeks. I'll remind you again next week. In 2 weeks, I probably won't be on because we're traveling back down south again.
Okay.
So I never know what kind of connection or what kind of computer I'm going to have access to. So
right.
That'd be the 22nd.
Okay.
So
how was anything good happened this week in the shop?
No, nothing really good. Went to a couple of good cruise nights. Been doing that with my buddy Kevin, and on my car, I've been supply chain. I've been waiting. You know what I was waiting for? I was waiting for one of these.
Oh, fitting the
just
fuel.
An A&N fitting. Now, the one that I had ordered a couple of weeks ago was scheduled now to come in like on Saturday, the 10th. So I went back online and I ordered this. I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to order one from another company because other stuff came in like in a day.
Yeah.
And this came in, of course. This was supposed to come in tomorrow, so it came in today. That's the only thing I'm waiting for to do a test and fire up my car. So
nice.
Tomorrow I'll get out there and plumb it.
I know you're ready to go, huh?
Yeah. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm watching a ton of videos on this stuff, and I'm starting to see. You see a whole lot of videos where they say, "Oh yeah, you put the thing in, everything. You could put the wizard on, fire the car up, it fires right up, everything's beautiful." But now I'm finding those videos where guys are saying, "No, it didn't fire right up, and they had problems, and what they had to do to solve it." So, now I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to be the first scenario, not the second.
Right. But, you might get lucky.
I hope so. What we didn't get lucky with was the weather. I know Brian has got to be underwater with this. I don't think you are. We were talking about you today.
We got a little bit of it.
You got a little bit? Okay. Well, we got a lot of bit of it.
Yeah, I heard.
So much so that the sky was orange yesterday. Like I look out the window and everything looked sepia and then like brown and orange. You could smell smoke wherever you went. It was like there was a fire like around the corner from your house.
Wow.
But it's in Canada. So
that's absolutely crazy.
Very crazy.
I seen a video today. A lady showed where the fire started somewhere in Canada, but it started in like 6 or 7 different places on the same day.
Wow.
So I don't know what's going on with that, but
the thing that made me think about was with all these wildfires, like in California, they'll have 300 acres at a time burning. So, what was the air quality like out there? I mean, that's a, in the immediate area, you might not even get it because this goes up into this. They said this was like 5,000 feet above us, and the jet stream catches it, and of course, we get all the Canadian air that comes down. That's what brings us to cool air. I sound like a meteorologist here, but I'm not. And that's why we got it, because the air came down and pushed it down. And that's why it landed here. But you got to wonder when they get those West Coast fires, obviously you never want to be in a fire or have it near you, but this is just the air quality in New York was worse than in Calcutta.
Yeah.
And like Calcutta has the worst air quality in the world. They were like on a scale of 170. We were 350.
Wow.
Yeah. They said it almost hit 400 at one point, which is,
yeah. Here in Ohio was this morning. You could smell it a little bit.
Yeah.
You could like feel it in your throat.
Right.
And all day it was a little orangey, not real. You could tell it was something weird.
Okay, so it did come out your way. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been dealing with that. Like we're out yesterday running errands, my wife and I. Like, hey, you know what? It's getting cloudier out and gray. It looks like fog. And like, yeah, this must be that smoke they're talking about. And then you can smell it and taste it. And next thing you know, it's like someone cut the light in more than half. It got that dark. So yeah, we were hitting some big numbers. So
that's crazy.
So I feel bad for people that have to work in that, guys that work outside, and because it's unbreathable. They were shutting down sporting events. A lot of the school stuff was closed or postponed. Just didn't want people out in it. So
right, they wait a minute, hold on, my dog's going crazy. I'm checking on it. They're doing a lot of barking.
All right.
Maybe you're chasing a cat.
Is he a fire dog?
Yeah, he's a Dalmatian.
Oh, good. Even better. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, he is a fire dog. All right.
So I'm going to let the fellas in, and
yeah.
Then I'm going to go check on his name's Zero.
Wait, Paul.
So he's doing a lot of extra barking. I'll be right back, fellas. Hey, fellas, how's it going?
What's up, guys?
I'll be right back.
Buddy.
What's up, Paul?
Hey, how's everybody tonight?
Living the apocalypse.
I'll come join you.
Yeah, all here.
Actually, I'm gonna walk up to the house, get a Coca-Cola. It's time for a cigarette and Coca-Cola.
Brian, I happen to know that your air quality isn't so great either.
Yep.
That's where you are.
Yeah,
you're banging almost hitting 150, which is
starting in the morning. It's really kind of weird because, like you said, in the morning the sun is kind of orange and there's a light tint in the sky. It never got really orangey. But the smell of smoke, and it's very foggy, or there is a lot of it's not very clear.
Well, I'm sure your brother will tell you what it's like in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
because the city was the worst.
Well, actually, he's out in Ohio right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So, but it was kind of funny because you get to about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and it kind of burns off, but it just has like a slight fog.
Yeah.
And the smell. And
ours just got progressively worse during the day, and then in the evening it kind of cleared up. I saw the sun again, so it depends what the air currents do.
But it's really kind of weird because then, like tonight coming home, it looked like there's the sky gets a little funny looking. It's like, I don't know if it's just how the sun gets in a certain angle, but they say tomorrow it's supposed to be almost gone. We're supposed to get a front in, and it looks like it's going to rain. I mean, but they say we're supposed to
I was going to go to a cruise night tonight, and around 4 o'clock, it just started getting darker and darker, and there was only a 10% chance of rain. So I was talking to my buddy Kevin. I said, look, they're not calling for rain. And then we ended up calling it because a lot of guys, even Belmore on Friday night, we went out there and, there was a chance. But if it even looks, or if someone even says that it might rain, guys don't take their cars out. So it was a real light night on Friday. So we called it. We called it for tonight and said the hell with it. We'll just stay home.
Yeah.
Ray,
I don't know. Like
more tomorrow.
What's that, Jim?
You gonna try going to Belmore tomorrow?
I don't know. I know my buddy Kevin. He's my normal Belmore pal. I know he says he can't make it tomorrow. He's got something else. So I don't know. I'll have to see what goes on. That'd be cool if I can get my car started and actually drive it there. That'd be nice.
That'd be cool.
That would be different. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and hit that tomorrow night. I haven't been there in a while.
It's been getting pretty packed. It's been very, very active. And the tuner crowd's been coming in a lot earlier than they used to. Like by 8 o'clock, 8:39, there's a lot of them coming in. And there's been a lot more activity out on Sunrise Highway, which is just waiting for the hammer to drop on that one, because that's never a good thing. But there have been a lot of really nice cars, a lot of nice stuff, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, that's always a show. I love going there.
Yeah.
That's the way it's been here. I'm waiting for I don't want to say it's getting bad, but it's getting bad and not in a great way. I mean, it's been really crazy.
I'd like to see more of that 55 Chevy that you sent me pictures of. That looked like a real sharp car.
Man, that car, I'm hoping next week or this weekend, I waited for that guy. He came down, and when people were leaving, he came down and somebody says, "At your car?" And he said, "Yeah." And and there were 5 or 6 of us waiting around for him to start up,
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Yeah, I'll be right back." And he walked back up, and I caught him up there sitting down at the Roy Rogers bullshit. And I said, "Dude, this guy ain't coming back." And I waited damn near 45 minutes.
Okay.
And I finally said, "I got to go." I mean,
what did I miss in Burtonsville?
Huh? Oh, there was a couple. I mean, there's been a couple really awesome stuff come through. But last weekend there was a 55 Chevy, and it was pretty badass. And he had airbrushed. Like the license plate was airbrushed in, all the emblems were I mean, you could. The car was just immaculate.
Okay, rear license plate molded into the deck lid.
No, it was painted. It was airbrushed on.
It was airbrushed into the deck lid.
Yeah,
Was it an airbrushed Maryland plate, but the vintage Maryland plate?
Yeah.
Was it Maryland? Because
yeah, it was the old yellow.
Was it a fat tire car?
Yes, very fat tired.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go. HF2381. That's the plate. It's kind of hard to see because Brian didn't take it straight on.
Put that back up, please.
Here, let me see if I can get my pictures here.
Yes, that car is out of Southern Maryland. I could almost take you right to his house. He used to go past my old house.
So there's the car right there.
It's got the 210 trim. It's a it's got California bumpers.
Yeah,
black steelies.
Wow, that's very surprising.
He's got like weld wheels
from where he is up to Burtonsville.
I don't know if you can see it because it's all black, but it's all motor.
Yes, I know the car very well. It's an older build. There's a joke amongst the owner of that car, and I guess it's his father and myself, about donuts. And Church of the Holy, it's kind of surprising he showed up there, because that car is more than capable of driving from here to Maine, or from where you are to Maine to have lobster dinner. It's a good build.
Well, then it's actually not hard to believe it would be there, right? I mean, if it's made for driving.
But the gentleman doesn't drive it. He is a zip code cruiser.
Maybe he had somebody else drive it.
And then the week before, I guess this is like a 62 maybe, or 61. Falcon wagon.
Yeah, that was
And that was a 427 in there, but he had adapted or made all the 260 stuff fit on it, on the motor.
There's a guy here.
Patent supercharged, but see, like the air cleaner.
Right, that's the guy with the custom air. Right. That's a cool build too. Very cool.
And that was very that car was very nice.
We got a guy here. He's been
And
at
it sounded
Belmore.
pretty badass.
This guy was at Belmore last week, and then he was at East Rockaway just Monday. And he's got a Falcon wagon, runs it with no hood. It's got a lot of patina. You know, the paint is kind of sketchy, but he's got an Australian 6-cylinder in it, a straight 6 with 3 carburetors. And I didn't get the whole story, but I just heard it's an Australian motor, so it's, you know, something we've never seen here. And pretty cool build. And he drives that. I think he had it on Power Tour. The guy takes it all over the place.
And Ray, I'm really sorry. I don't want to, burst your bubble or break your news, but I know why you haven't had your car out yet, because you're waiting for your new wheels to come in.
My new wheels? Oh, do you have them there?
Oh,
All I see is a reflection.
shit.
Try that again. It's got to be good. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm waiting for those. All right.
There was a guy with his GTO, and it's a very beautiful color car,
It
convertible, but the wheels were just butt ugly. I mean,
horrendous.
You got to be real careful with wheels. They make a car or break a car.
And that's the thing. It's all up to someone's opinion, their
I
personal
zoomed in.
opinion, what they like. I mean, somebody really likes those wheels. I don't, but, somebody, obviously, that guy does. I found that to be like music, where you think that there's certain tastes and certain things that just are universal with people, and then you find out that some people just have they don't
Class.
Yeah, there you go. They don't fit into the mold. They just have their own. They're out on the outliers, like, why would you put that on that? Or I don't know. But hey, listen, I always say, to each his own. You paid for it, you build it, you own it. Fine by me. I don't care. Do what you want. Just don't try and make me like it.
I went out to the cruise this Sunday and at Quaker Steak and Lube, and there was a couple new cars out there. I'm always happy to see some new stuff show up.
Yeah,
there's a couple nice cars
I
there.
haven't seen a lot of new stuff. I don't know if it's been bought or built, but a lot of new stuff in this area that I hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now, I no longer care if it's bought or built, but I want to see something vintage. I'm sick of going to the cruise ends and seeing something that you got off the used car lot. It's a 2018 Camaro.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that.
I'm very jealous, and that's why I brought up Burtonsville. Is I truly miss, even though I didn't drive all the way to Burtonsville, I'd stop at in Crofton at the Krispy Kreme at the the Holy Donut Krispy Kreme chapter, but there's nothing down here. This place is really kind of sucks.
Wow.
The car scene down here is really poor.
I'm with you on the border build thing. I used to be a little more opinionated, but now I think, like my friend Kevin's like that. He'll ask the guy, hey, how long have you had this nice car? How long have you had it? Well, 6 months. And he'll walk away from him because he knows the guy's only going to be able to tell him how much he paid for it and where it came from. And I mean, if you want to have a conversation, there's not much of a conversation to have at that point, unless you look at the other guy's receipts.
No, but at least, and I had this conversation with a gentleman last weekend. Model A sedan, 31 Model A sedan. The car was raw. It was really, really nice at the same time. You had to have seen it. I don't think I took any pictures of it.
How about that?
I finally found the guy that owned it, and I said, how long have you had it? About 8 months. I put a motor in it.
Can you see that, Paul?
The rest of the work was not his.
Paul, can you see that on the screen? I got to get a camera that focuses better close. It's a little fuzzy because it is not camera's not focusing.
It
close.
looks like a Model A Roadster.
It is, and it was a really clean, older build. And then right next to it, boom, we go up to the 40s. These guys blew me away last week. It's like, nice, the old iron is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Beautiful builds.
Well, the
Brian,
market is the bubble has popped.
Yeah.
The pre-war stuff is done, but the cars still exist.
Okay.
Just because the owners have passed on and the cars were passed down, they didn't go to the crusher. These cars still exist.
That's right.
What's it going to take to get them to come out?
Somebody who knows how to get them going again, and that's the thing. Like that Model A was original, but the Ford was not. That was a resto mod. So I rebuilt the carburetors on those Model A's because my buddy who owns two Model A's, he didn't know what to do with it. And I said, well, give it to me. I'll do it.
Were they Zenith?
I believe it was a Zenith. Yeah, this is going back a couple of years. I did his carb. Very basic. Very basic.
They are.
Yeah.
It might as well be a perfume sprayer because that's all it is.
Pretty much so. Yeah.
Perfume spray.
Yeah. It's just about that technologically advanced. But like you said,
it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. Forget the Model A's. Forget the flatheads, because that's going into black science voodoo magic now. I mean, I know guys, and I'm going to say they're younger guys, but these guys are like 30 and 40 years old. And if you gave them a car and said, okay, here's a battery and some gas, get this thing running, we'll take it out tomorrow night, and it had points in it, and a carburetor, they wouldn't be able to get it running. And they're like 30, 40 years old, and they couldn't do that. They'd look at it and say, huh? So, yeah, it's sad.
No, but they can watch a YouTube video on how to check the points.
That's true, and that's probably exactly what they do.
Condemn the coil.
But then the other thing is, okay, we all know you can gap points. You can air gap them and get the car to run. But, like, where are you going to find attack and dwell unless you have 5 of them like me or you?
I don't know. Let's see. Just right there, there's 3 of them.
And a timing light. That's another thing guys don't have anymore.
I got a modern day fancy one that I could, So there's your tack and dwell instantly.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. There are those of us that have that stuff still, and I've actually given tack and dwells to some of the younger guys. One of the guys was watching me work on a '66 Chevy, straight 6 with points, and he said, "Man, how do you know how to do that?" And I said, "Well, because this is what I grew up doing." And he said, "But what's that meter? What's that doing?" So I explained to him what dwell angle is, and and how everything interplays with timing and all. And then I gave him a snap-on tack and dwell. I said, "Here, I got 3 of these. Take this, put it in your box." I said, because he's got a 70 GTO. I said, "Your car has a points distributor in it." I said, "At some point, you should have to check this. So you're going to need this meter." And then it ended up that year he had me convert the car to an HEI. So much. I took the meter back. I'll give it to somebody else.
I'm tempted in the last, since I've been unemployed for the last couple of weeks and there hasn't been anything coming in. I've had very little work come in. I've been spending some time on the Model T, the Roadster that I dragged down. That was the build-off car. It's being some redesign and some stuff going on with that. I'm tempted to put one of these dwell meters in the dashboard. Why not? It's a rat ride. Why not have a dwell meter?
Hey, if it'll fit.
Yeah.
If it'll fit, why not?
I mean, you see every other kind of gauge. Why,
that's one you never see.
Let's mold the dwell meter to the top of the cow.
See, it would be cool if they had made round dwell meters and then you could have mounted it in a gauge pod, but I never saw a round one, truthfully.
Well, I sell a timing light every flashlight's a timing light.
Well, there you go. Right.
Look, this is, see, we have the timing light.
Okay. That's good. And it's wireless.
Wireless.
Yeah.
I told you about the guy at the Ford dealership, right?
Now, will that work for real?
You No, I have the smaller version. I got the pocket version. This is the pocket timing light.
No, but I went into the Ford dealership and there was a new technician there, and we're talking, and he's like, "Man, this is the best flashlight I ever bought." And I said, "Yeah, they're really good." And he's like, "And it's got a built-in timing light." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah." And so he's got this car there and it's running. And he goes, "Look," and he takes out his flashlight and starts flickering. And he's holding it down on the harmonic balancer. And he's like, "I can check the timing."
Oh my God. You got to be kidding. I don't know if I would have laughed my ass off or dropped dead.
So
I probably would have dropped dead laughing.
I said, "Okay, well, I'll see you guys next week." And he wasn't there. So
that's great.
That's about as good as the guy that came out and told me that my test light didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, he bought a test light, and this old school with the bulb in it, you know, and I was like, "Well, what do you mean it doesn't work?" So I took the cover off of where my batteries are in the back of the truck and laid the light on and said it works. I said, "Let me see what you're doing." So he walked into the car, and there was a wrench
We lost him.
on the carpet.
Oh no, he grounded it.
And he grounded it to the wrench and was touching. Go, "See, it doesn't work."
Jesus.
And I was like, "Well, you got to ground. You got to, put it to ground." He goes, "I did. I hook it to metal."
Moron.
So did Maryland pass its recreational law? Is
Not yet. It's coming.
And these people are this stupid before they pass.
Yep.
That's a good point, Paul. That's a good point.
And this is why I cringe when they say, I said, "You actually work on cars?" I mean,
you got hired to work on cars?
And they asked me, they said, "Who does your work?" I said, "I do all my own work."
Who does
Don't
your
worry.
work? Yeah, that's good.
But I got I'll tell you, one day I'm going to write a book or make a movie, because I've seen some pretty incredible stuff.
See, if you want to blow the guy's mind, you could have told him how that test light can be used right up into the modern world. You could do a lot of how you can do computer diagnostics. How you can, using it as a load.
Yeah.
Basically, just what?
Well, and then it's scary when I sell a guy a power probe and he runs in and just hooks it up and starts power ground across the board. And
that's
I'm like,
great. That's
dude,
great.
I said, whatever you do not do that to an orange connector. Why?
Yeah.
And I said, that's going to an airbag.
Yeah.
Dude.
Right. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that to bring it back to what Paul said about the cars that are sitting, it's like, who's going to revive them? I'd like to, I think I got to start asking people when I meet them, who works on your car? I'm curious, because I see less and less guys working on older stuff and more people asking me, what's this? What's that? How do you do that? How do you do this? And I'm thinking, back in the day, that was all taken for granted. We all had a similar base of knowledge. Some people specified and went a little more one way or the other, and we still do. But we all had a commonality that, we could get a car running. We could do a tune-up. You could do brakes. You could do things like that. And then you went a little more specialized after that. But that's not so anymore.
Well, that's like when we were talking, Ray, about, these older cars coming out from being dug out of the garage or whatever. And, do they at least, make sure that,
right,
whatever reason, like if they have, brake fluid or the tires aren't, some of these tires I read the date code on them and they're, over 20 years old or whatever. And I see a lot, especially with the younger guys. Actually, I helped one of the guys one of my customers around the corner, because he was putting stuff together with stainless steel bolts.
Oh.
And I told him, I said, the tensile strength isn't, you shouldn't, that's not something that you want to hold a chassis or brake component parts, because and he's like, well, why, and then you had to go through this whole explanation of why or what tensile strength or strength
Right.
is.
I got into that with a guy at a shop years ago, and I was trying to get him to use fine thread bolts instead of coarse thread, and he couldn't understand the reason why.
Yeah.
And I just ended up shaking my head and saying, "Okay, dude, do what you do. It's better. Well, look, using a coarse thread bolt is better than using nothing." But
there was one day at one weekend up at Burtonsville. There was a guy. Him and his wife both had a car, and they were kind of like, one of them was what is the Ford C wagon? The
C cab.
The C cab.
Yeah.
He had a C cab up there.
That's old.
And it was a rat rod type thing. And he drove in, and I was like, "Hey, you're missing for the ladder bar for the ladder bar part." I said, "You're missing a bolt." And he, looked and said, "Holy crap, that's missing." And I looked at the other side, and it was a stainless steel bolt. And I said, "You can't. That's why you sheared off somewhere going down the road."
Right.
And because of course, he was like, "Well, somebody must have left it loose," and I'm like, "I think it's sheared off."
Good old grade 8, baby.
And
no, see, I was waiting for you to say that.
Why, you don't like grade 8?
There's the grade 8, and where is it? There we go. There's the grade 8. There's the Heim joint.
Spherical rod end. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then you'd either hold it in shear or double shear, however it's going to be held. But if you note, all the chassis manufacturers out there, this one happened to come from TCI. If I don't mind me saying their name. This is a grade 5. And this is what they're all sold with. And when I questioned this and had everything grade 8, what I was told was, yes, stay away from the stainless. It's a different tensile strength. It's brittle. It just shears. It's whatever. The grade 8, it's super strong, but when it breaks, it breaks. The grade 5
breaks slower.
Will bend before it breaks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you're going to have a warning. You're going to see something was wrong.
Or kill it.
The grade 8s, there is no warning. It's just going to give. So it give and go away. The grade 5 will give and bend, and actually would be safer for you.
Well, yeah, all right.
Got switched back over.
It's it's all predicated too on if you're going to do an inspection and look at the stuff to see, because then you could avert that problem before it happened, because you would catch it. But if you're not looking at it, you're not catching it.
Well, I believe you'll feel something different too. If it's bent, it would, I mean.
Brian's guy was driving out one. He didn't feel it.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking part of the ladder bar. I mean, you're talking a major part of the suspension, but
it was missing. Yeah.
If that's the case, and that guy is just that clueless, then I don't want him on the same road as me.
Well, people don't, and that's what Brian and I were talking about. How people take these. Just a few weeks ago, they take the cars out, buy it or take it out of Grandpa's garage or whatever, and throw gas in it and maybe a carburetor and and fire it up and then drive it into the cruise night without ever looking at things like the brakes. Or I walked into a barbershop today that I happened to see. I saw an older guy. So I said, dude, that's the barbershop for me. He's an old guy. And I went in today cold, got a haircut, and I'm talking with the guy. He was some kind of from a Slavic country. I don't know if he was Polish or Russian. Nice guy, Eddie. And we're talking about cars and, kind of giving him a little, he's asked me what I do with cars and blah, blah, blah. So he says, I asked him what his choice in cars, what does he have any older cars or does he like older cars? Because he seemed to be going that way. He says, no, I have the car that I like, and I really love my car. I'm like, well, that's fair. What are you driving? He's driving a Toyota Highlander. I said, oh, okay. All right. I said, I got a Toyota, I got an FJ. I said, it's the cousin. I said, there are a lot of similar components. So we just started talking about similarities, and I said, and he says, and you can see he was beaming, proud of his truck. And he says, I make sure that I keep it clean, and I always get the oil changed on time. I said, okay, that's great. That's good. I said, when was the last time you had your brake fluid flushed? And his eyes got wide, and he looked at me like, what? And I said, yeah, brake fluid. I said, you know, you should do that like every couple of years. I said, even every 3 years. I said, I do like every year on my cars. I said, it's not hard to do. I said, and he's using a guy that's right near his shop. And I said, I know of that guy. I've heard of him. He's very good. He's honest. I said, next time you go in for something, ask him, you know, what he'll charge you to do a brake fluid flush. I said, it shouldn't be a lot of money. And I knew he didn't really understand why, you know, even though I told him, but I'm hoping he'll remember and he'll ask about it. Maybe the guy will back it up and say, yeah, it's a good thing to do. But then why didn't he recommend it to him? You know, you got to wonder that.
Mhm.
So,
well, we all know on that part of it, recommending, everybody thinks that they're out trying to screw or take their money. And
Yeah, he might have. Yep.
And so they automatically, you know, say, I'm only here for this, you know, and of course you can't win because that's when the wheel falls off or whatever happens. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me? I said, well, if I told you, you'd think I'm stealing from you. And if I don't tell you, you can't win.
It's about 14 years ago. I was in a Sears. I had to get tires on my wife's car. I went to a Sears at the time because they had them and they had a sale. So, and I'm sitting there in a waiting room and I'm looking. They had a menu board up of all the different services: brakes, oil, antifreeze, you know, AC. And they had the first thing up there. They had brake fluid flush. So I asked the guy, the service writer, I said, hey, listen, I see on your menu board you have a brake fluid flush up there. He goes, oh, do we? I'm like, yeah, it's like the first thing. I said, do you sell many of those? No, nobody ever gets that done. I said, you got it listed for like $25. I said, that's like a giveaway. Like that's, you know,
it costs you 18 for a fluid.
Especially if you're using an automatic tool, you guys hooking it up and you walk, you have a cigarette, you do something else. You just, it's so simple. And he says, yeah. And another guy who was a service writer just wasn't, he goes, yeah, a lot of our customers, they wouldn't go for that. I said, well, how about educating your customers a little bit? I said, I can understand the housewives aren't going to understand. They're not going to get it. I said, but you know, tell them to have the husband bring the car in, or I said, unless you guys just don't want to do it, you know. But again, I stopped being surprised a long time ago. I really did.
Hey, one of the things I've noticed, especially going to cruise nights and car shows and stuff like that, you're coming across older guys, you know, they're finally into money, they finally can relax, and they'll go out and buy something, but they have no idea of how to work on a car.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, Jim, where guys, you ask them, hey, it happened last week at Belmore. Guy had a beautiful 65 a 2+2. And we asked him, that's a beautiful car, man. How long have you had it? He says, 8 months. So we knew, like, okay. And then my friend Kevin didn't engage him in the conversation because that's his call-off point. But I started asking him some questions, just about mechanical, what stuff that I even knew the answer to. What engine, what transmission, blah, blah, blah. How do you like the 8 lugs? And the guy really knew nothing about it, only that he always wanted one, and he had the money, and he went and bought one. And I was like,
yeah, but they also didn't, they didn't grow up like we did working on the stuff.
I guess not. I guess this guy probably didn't, or I find a lot of guys too who say, yeah, I used to do that, and it's almost valid today to say I used to do my own tune-ups and brakes and all, because modern cars, unless you've grown with them, they're a lot different than the ones that we worked on back then. And
the one scary thing I saw, this goes back a couple of years up here on Deer Park Avenue. Guy comes up, Pro Street Nova, it's like 69, 70 Nova, 1432s on the back. Car is beautiful, huge big block in it, and he's got the hood on, and I'm looking, and everybody's looking at it, and they're talking to the guy and stuff like that, and I'm looking at the nitrous setup, and somebody asks him, "Hey, how many stages of nitrous you got?" The guy's like, "I don't know." One set of solenoids, 2 set of solenoids.
Yeah,
it's 2 systems, pal. The guy had no clue. 45 grand on this car, no clue.
Wow.
And I'm like, and this is no question, this was an 8-second car.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy's ever been anything close to that guy.
Well, I guess we got to say at that point, we can assume that luckily he won't be driving it like an 8-second car.
Let's hope not.
If he doesn't know how many stages of nitrous you have, he probably doesn't know how to activate it. He probably doesn't know you got to fill the bottle.
Yeah.
No, but the problem with a car like that, and these guys go out and they want to run them around on the street and do parades or, try to go to the next town over, and it's got a 456 rear gear. So they get out onto 70 and bring it up to 70 miles an hour where the motor's singing at 5,000 RPMs.
Yeah.
And then it goes boom, and they're like, why did my motor blow up?
Right.
Because this was built for 8th mile drag racing, not for driving around town on the highway.
Well, that might be the best thing that happens to them, because then the car gets parked and then they find out what it'll cost to fix it, and they're not going to do that, so they'll sell it. And maybe somebody can get it who will actually use it for what it's intended. That's what I was explaining to this barber today about resto mods. He had no idea. And I said, yeah, guys are taking older cars and you build them with newer components to do things with them that you could never do before, like drive on the highway and go cross country and have AC as long as with 500 horsepower. And he was really interested. He was like, wow, he knew nothing about this. And I said, yeah, that's kind of the whole basis of the subculture. That's the world. We've grown with technology. And it's cool. So we get your breakthrough flush.
I think the other issue is also you have people watch the movies, the Fast Furious, all that, and all they think is put the money in, put this on my card, don't know what it does, don't know how to work it. And then, like Paul was saying, they want to get on the freeway, but you also have these idiots that want to get on the road and drag race. And it's not like back in the day when we used to do it. I mean, yeah, we were taking a risk, we were knuckleheads, but it's much more dangerous now. I mean, the stuff that they're pulling and I mean, back when I was fresh out of high school, I was running light to light doing stupid stuff, but I also had a sense of what time of the day to do it. I didn't do it in the middle of rush hour traffic, and I knew whatever I did to my car, I was going to have to fix. If I had it dragging into the driveway, my dad was going to tell me, well, it ain't going to the shop. You figure it out, fix it,
Yeah.
And the sad thing is most cities nowadays have a track nearby where you can, here they call it run what you brung. And it's like, it's been a while since I've paid attention, but it was like $20 and you can run from right as the sun's going down till about 11 o'clock at night or so.
Yep.
And even back then, the guys that did it on the street, they went way out on the outskirts where there was nobody, no houses. It was usually a road that was being built. And in fact, there was a point where there was some roads being built that were shut down, and they'd sneak onto those roads and run on those roads until, the roads became live again.
Boy, I wish we had roads here that were being built.
Well, I can recall some times back into the 80s and into the 90s. The year 1990 comes to mind for one of them. Ardmore-Ardwick Road, when they were building the metro over that direction, there was a good chunk of asphalt that was blocked off in front of the metro that at one point, New Carrollton Police Department put up signs that said no drag racing. It was that bad over there. There's been lots of street race places, and I've been on the street races where some things have gone south. And it's not good. So, and yeah, today it's completely different. We did it at 2:00 in the morning, deserted road, nobody around. Hell, emergency equipment couldn't even get to you for about 15 minutes. So,
I will say that the fast guys that are out there doing like legit grudge racing on the street still and all that, they're pretty safe. Number one, they've got cages, they've got all the safety equipment. Number two, they do look for the less populated areas and roads and stuff. But all the stuff that gets blasted all over Facebook and other social media places is these people doing the intersection takeovers and slideshows and all that stuff. That's incredibly dangerous. You got crowds standing around cars running people over and everything else.
I just seen one today, and this car hit 3 or 4 people. You should have seen how far it threw these people.
Was that in like Chicago or something?
Yeah, it was a Hellcat, I think.
Yeah,
Challenger. Yep.
Really
Man.
Challenger.
I think we've
Man.
lost that video now. It's got to
These
come
idiots.
to an end.
If I'm anywhere and these guys are doing that, I'm leaving.
Oh yeah. We were at a parking lot meet prior to some street shenanigans last year, and a couple of yahoos come through and start doing burnouts in the parking lot, and I left. I was like, you know what? It isn't worth talking to the cops tonight, so just take off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing.
I don't even have that luxury here. It's just so boring in the middle of nowhere. I gotta drive 100 miles to even see anything halfway populated. But we do got Cato Mills drag strip, so there is an event coming up at the drag strip it's about an hour's drive from here. But I talked to the guy who's putting it on. It's a nostalgic type run, focusing on flatheads. I said, I need a copy of the tech rule book so I can see if my car will pass. He said, just put a helmet on, you pass. I'm like, okay. I sent him a picture of the car I'm building, and he's like, yeah, bring it. You can go on the track. I'm like, you don't want to let this car on the track.
Yeah, there's a track local to me. If you go on test and tune night, they're not even checking to see if your battery's bolted down.
Wow.
Where's that?
Yeah. I won't put them on blast like that, but everyone around here knows. It's the only place you can go and you can crack off a 9-second pass in your uncaged car wearing gym shorts and flip-flops.
Yeah.
And we know somebody that does it.
Yeah, well, I can do that on Route 11, right down the street.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's doing it in a 4,000-pound old box Chevy, too.
With a comfy couch.
Yeah.
The comfy couch. I tell you, man, people don't understand how dangerous cars are. Like,
oh, and there's been a quantum leap in speeds in the last 10 to 15 years too. You know, I remember when I first started getting into cars back around 2005 or so. You know, like an 11-second street car was really fast, and if you were in the 10s, that was like wicked fast. You know, 500, 600 horsepower on the street was insane. And now you go to these car meets and stuff. If the power to the wheels isn't 4 digits, no one even checks your car out.
Yeah.
You okay, Paul?
Shooting off? Trying to shoot those coyotes?
Yeah, right.
Okay, shoot them down.
Well, when you're in Texas, you know that a coyote is, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a couple different kinds of coyotes out there.
Yeah.
There's the 2-legged kind. There's the 4-legged kind.
Should
we
I
have
call?
both kinds here too.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul. Hey, give me word, man.
Too bad we can't pan his camera.
Terry.
What's up, Terry?
What's happening, gentlemen?
Now we got a famous guy here.
I'm sorry, what's Ray?
I want to know about those driving lights.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Terry.
Mountain to set in my FJ, and I want to know about beam width and strength and intensity. I want to know. I want a full report.
Okay, well, the lights I'm using is a Western driving light, and it just fits so close in the pocket. So you know the pipe that I put in there has got a 4-inch pipe, and then I just put the lights in there, and it fits like a glove. Right. And I was thinking about converting to LEDs, but we'll see how they go because I can easily take them out.
Are they're halogens now? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the car's converted to HE. It had HID, but now it's LED.
Right.
On the headlights, but I'm thinking about doing the same thing with the driving lights.
Nice.
Because I like the 6,000 lumens, where it's just a little bit blue, just a touch blue.
What was the consensus about your pole with the painted bumper?
Well, I would say probably about out of like there was probably I think around 1,000 people who replied. About 200 said keep it chrome, and the rest were just like, "Yo, nice, nice, nice." You know.
Okay.
You know, so it was mostly they like the painted bumper.
Yeah.
Now I sent y'all a picture of the front, and I haven't posted that yet, so you guys are the first to see it.
Okay.
But I saw you had the rear bumper on the other day. I mean, that was on, and that you know, Terry, I really like it, but you know, I want to see it in like a flat black. So could you put a black one on just to get the
100%.
idea?
Yeah, can we swap
100%.
it out so we can see
know,
both? Yeah.
Or maybe
100%.
how about like, you know, you just maybe like a little shade different of that copper color just to off accent it a little bit.
If you look at it, actually the bumpers are the color of the stripe.
Really?
Yeah, because it's ghost stripes, but the bumper is just a little bit darker, just a little bit. You might see it in the daylight.
You know, Terry, there was a car at the cruise night the other night that was kind of between your color and my color.
That's nice.
It was orangey, a little more orangey.
That's really nice. I got someone who asked me,
nice.
How come I didn't use a 70 bumper? I think a 70 Monte Carlo or either El Camino bumper.
What's the difference in the bumper?
That has the round indicator lights.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I was just like, well, you know,
good question.
They're too far out.
Okay.
I got rid of the license plate pocket, so I moved them in closer.
Yeah.
And I think a closer one looks better. I think they look better close.
It does look good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jim.
It's almost like you measured the size of the hole for the light.
Well, what happened was like I said, I got some 4-inch tubing and I put the light in there. I was like, hey, this all right, it works. All right. And so what I did was I took that tube and I drilled the hole in the 2 holes in the bumper because it was a rusty old bumper. I was like, let's give it a shot. Mm-hmm. Cut holes out. But then I realized to make it look good, it can't just be a circular hole. It has to be like an oblong, almost like an egg shape.
Right.
And because, you know, it's going up like this. The bumper, the profile goes like that. It's not just flat. And I put the pipe through the opening, welded it, trimmed it off, and it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, thank you. There you go.
70 Elko.
There it is.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, see how far out
the
and Chip Foose even said that. Chip Foose was like, well, you know, you could use a 70 bumper from El Camino, and they already have the holes there. And I was like, yeah, but see, the problem is I got rid of the license plate pocket, and I wanted to move them in. And he goes, oh, if you got rid of, he says, good move. He told me good move. So I was like, woo.
I mean,
he really liked it.
That's the ticket getter move in New York.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
yeah.
it is. I told him he can use it. I said, Chip, go ahead. You could use it. Just go ahead. Do your thing, Chip.
Isaac, you got a good camera. Focus is close. I got to get rid of this dopey thing of mine.
Yeah.
Ray,
thank you very much. Give me
like
all the opinions. I really appreciate it.
It's one of the last 6 states that requires a front plate.
Oh, there are only that few? Just 6?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Ohio was one until last year.
Wow. Yep.
We still are.
I could get away with it in my car because I have a 1964 World's Fair plate, which is a black plate, and they only issued one. So you put that on the rear, and on the front, you typically put the World's Fair plate. But your car has to be a 64 or 65. So I can technically get away with it with my car, but
I got away. I used to get away with it on my my Grand Prix because where the front plate would go, I molded it into the bumper, and if I got pulled over for no front plate, I'd just be like, there's no provision to mount a plate. Sorry.
I still got a ticket that way.
Did you?
Yeah, I did too.
When I had my first Fiat, the license plate frame, the bracket was all rusty, and I just took it off, and I got stopped. I had the plate in the car. I had it. It's right. I had it in the trunk. It was my daughter was young, so I had a car seat, a baby seat in the car. So, and it was a trooper, New York State trooper. So he's giving me a ride. Of course, I'm looking over. I'm looking at his crotch because they were all like 6'8", you know, and I'm in a Fiat, so that was a little uncomfortable. But where's your front plate? I said, you know, I just had the car in the body shop, just had it painted, and the license plate bracket, wasn't there. I said, so they got to order me a new one. It's got to come from Italy because it's not a, it's an Italian car. He goes, well, you're supposed to have a front plate. I said, well, I have the plate. I said, he goes, well, how come you don't have it in the car with you? I said, I do. I have it in the trunk. I said, I'll show it to you if you'd like. And of course, you offer to open the trunk, they're going to take you up on it. So I opened the trunk and there was the plate. He goes, well, why didn't you have it in the car with you? I said, I had it on the dashboard for a while. I said, but, I picked my daughter up and I dropped her off for daycare. I said, I was afraid that plate would come across the dash and hit her. So I put it in the trunk to be safe. And he almost didn't give me a ticket. He kind of thought like, okay, good idea. And then he gave me a ticket and told me how to beat it. So I was like, okay, good enough. Fair enough. So
yeah, state trooper pull you, man. You're getting it.
Yeah.
We got a lot of them here.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, Lewis, you were also DWB, so.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I haven't had a ticket in 37 years.
Nice.
But I have had DOT tickets because they find stuff on your vehicle, but no speeding tickets, none of that.
Don't jinx yourself.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it.
Don't. Oh God.
Do you ever get DOT'd on the buses, or they don't bother you guys?
No, we're not under DOT on the bus.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Municipal.
Yep.
Mm. No,
Man, nice. They used to get me in my semis though. Woo! I had one go in the front on a creeper, and I looked in the mirror, and he came out the back.
Oh God!
He's like, "Here you go." And the whole stack. He's like, "I found a whole bunch of stuff."
Wow. Hey, I like your shirt, Lewis. By the way.
Yeah. Some white guy get it to me.
Oh, nice.
Sure you didn't steal it from? Just checking.
Yeah, I try to support the fellas.
Right.
Yep, our DOT guy has like a F-250 pickup truck, extended cab, extended bed, and he's pulling a trailer.
Oh yeah,
and he's got scales and everything, dude.
Wow. Yep. It looks like it's like an ambulance body almost, but it's done up in DOT motor carrier colors. Wow. And that's the mobile scale truck around here.
Yeah, Ohio closed all their scales and they went mobile, and the state trooper took over, so it's all state troopers, but now they're DOT mobile.
Yeah, wow.
Yep, they don't play neither, boy.
Yeah.
Brian, they stop you and say, "Listen, we got the mobile regen, deaf fuel regen checker here, so we're gonna."
Well,
hook you up.
It was funny because back in the day, I can't tell you how many times I was pulled over, and they would walk up, and between the cab and the the box was the sight glass for the fuel. And they would just come up. Sometimes they didn't even make it all the way up. They just come up there with the light and look in there, and they were looking for you running home heating oil versus running diesel.
Right.
Yep.
So you're not being, because you're not paying tax. Because we had a couple companies down here that got nailed for running home heating oil versus, they're not paying the road tax or farm, or farm fuel.
Yep.
Yeah. Farm
and
the pink
and it's funny because you're like, I have all my stuff out ready, and it's like, well, hey, it goes, oh, you're okay, have a nice day, and that's all they're looking for. That's a $10,000 a day fine until you get it fixed.
Yeah, we had a woman.
Wow,
she hasn't called in a while. She used to call the show very, very regularly, and she worked on all her own stuff. Her and her husband did, or her boyfriend. They did oil burner rip outs. And they drove diesel trucks. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got it out of her, like, yeah, what are you doing with all that old, that heating oil? And she's like, well, I shouldn't be saying. I'm like, yeah, I know you're running in your trucks. She was like, no, but I hope we're always sweating it that we're going to get stopped. She goes, but how can you not? She says, well, we're pulling off, 20, 30 gallons, 40 gallons at a time. She goes, it's like, it's free fuel.
Yeah.
I was gonna build a still when I lived out in the country, I was looking into doing it, but I never got around to it.
A waste oil fuel.
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey guys, I got a bail. Can't wait.
Biodiesel.
Okay.
Biodiesel.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy, Jim.
See you, man.
All right, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Yeah, I was gonna do the biodiesel. Get the restaurant oil and run it through the steel.
Yeah, so your truck.
Oh, with you gotta get like some lye and all that and convert it over.
Yeah.
Lately here on Long Island, there's been thefts. Guys are stealing the waste oil from the. It was like they went to a place called Dirty Taco. They were taking it from them, and the fast food joints that they're stealing their waste oil.
Have you ever smelled it? It smells like French fries.
We had a guy come to the show, and this is going back, I swear, 12, 14 years, and he had a Mercedes, and he converted it to run off of waste oil. And he had the whole thing set up in his trunk. He opened the deck lid. He had the filter hanging down so he could like stop on the side of the road, grab some, pour it, filter it right into his tank. And he had put a second fuel gauge in the Mercedes. And I said to him, for the oil, I said, the only thing I would do different is, because that's just me, I said, I would open up that gauge and get it to face, and I put like a chicken on it, like a decal of a chicken or something, or a French fry, and then put it back in the dash.
Runs off chicken grease.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he said, he was telling me at the time, he goes, yeah, if you ever want to get into this, he said the Chinese restaurants, because it's the best oil you'll ever get. It's the cleanest you'll ever find.
I ran it one time in one of my trucks, my older truck. I ran it, man, and at the first time I put it in, it gets real dirty because it's cleaning out your motor. And then once it all cleans out and you run it again, man, that truck was running pretty good for a while.
Wow. I used to carry in the old tool truck. I used to carry 3 gallons of cooking oil in the back of the truck because the one time I ran out there was no diesel around, so I filled it up and drove it home.
I gotta tell you, in the supermarket we shop in, I've been watching this since Thanksgiving because that's when I noticed it. People do, they'll do turkey frying, and they had like a stack of peanut oil, 5-gallon containers of peanut oil. The price has stayed the same. It's like $60 for 5 gallons of peanut oil. Like, and there was a guy in there who was looking to wait.
Behind you, Tyler.
I see him.
Yeah. Guys.
What's up, Pop?
Working a half day today?
Yeah, right. About right. Yeah.
Can't get good help anymore. Can't get good help anymore these days. I don't know.
Yeah, I was finishing up some stuff and listening to you guys chat.
All right.
You're always welcome.
Yeah.
I try to listen in from time to time.
Especially if you got peanut oil.
All right. Well, it's good seeing everybody.
All right.
Have a good night.
Good night. So there was this guy in there who was looking, an Italian fella, and he was looking to fry some turkeys. And I heard him on the phone with his wife, and he needed it was like 20 gallons of this stuff. Yeah, I was like, man, this guy's doing like 2 turkeys or whatever. So I told him what aisle it was in because I had seen it. And I said, oh, by the way, it's like, $60 a container. It was like, what? I was like, yeah. And it like jumped that weekend. It jumped up. I figured it would come down by now. It's like, 7 months later, but it hasn't.
Yeah. It's always been kind of high though. When I went.
Well, and everything's been going up. So I just had a conversation yesterday with a guy who got a new torque converter for his Power Glide in his race car, and he said this same converter a year and a half ago cost him like $1,100 or something. Now it's over $2,000.
Wow!
And it's just because the internal parts have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
The vanes, the rotor.
Yeah.
I mean, the metal.
Yeah.
Is that
so the guy at the transmission shop that built the converter for him said that stator was like $230 2 years ago. Now it's almost $800.
Wow!
Just the stator.
Yeah. We had a huge price increase overnight with our drill bits. Same thing. We went from $400 to $600.
Wow.
Yeah. Material cost.
I've been dealing with the parts, with parts availability, and I finally entered into the world Tyler, your world. I smiled when I saw this today. Yeah.
Yep.
Dave gave me a cool little decal. I needed one of these. You know, I needed to be able to mate the thing that stopped me from my cars. I needed to mate the two throttle bodies to the incoming fuel. So I ordered one of these I ordered one where they actually come out straight, not on a Y. Like 2 weeks ago with 4 other parts. All the other stuff came in like the next day or the day after. That thing was like slated for the 10th. I'm like, that's shit. So last week I said, screw that. I went to another manufacturer. I said, send me a Y. Maybe the Y will actually, maybe I can make the lines look a little nicer with the Y. And that came today. And this other one still didn't come in. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You know, it's like the last thing I need. So
that's how it goes.
Hey, I'm curious. With the price of everything going up, what's gas running you guys on average?
We're at 333, I think, 35.
I was gonna say 340 something. I think I paid for like 87 today.
Oh,
yeah,
I think we're about
on the same price.
356.
okay. I'd say, yeah.
Super's around maybe 428, something like that, 429.
Man, they're banging you with that bridge tax.
Yeah, we're at 409. I was just looking right now. 409. A couple of places are up to 429, but it just came down. It was up almost to $5, like for the last month and a half.
We're between like 335 and 354, depending where you go, what station you go to here on the island.
Diesel's been real funny still because I can go 2 blocks down the road and pay, $5.28. And then I can go 2 blocks the other way, and I'm paying $3.40.
Yeah, you really got to check before you go. Yep.
So
Now, my friend Christian called the show on Sunday, and he was talking about he was out east and he got some ethanol-free gas, which I didn't even know we sold on Long Island. And he sent me a picture. You're not going to be able to see it. I don't think you can see those prices. It's not going to show.
Yeah, no.
Well, it was 365. He's out of the East End too. 365 for regular, 421 for plus, 441 for premium, and 739 for ethanol free.
Wow.
Like almost $8 a gallon.
I had to look tomorrow. I have a gas station over in the Kensington that's ethanol free. And I went, but then we have one that's just, ethanol. It's ethanol. And I think it's almost like $5.
Yeah,
that is
why would be worth it.
It'll run on trash.
I gotta go. I thought I had to go up to like where Terry was. I usually got to go over the bridge and go north to get it. I think I forget. It's been a while. I looked into what was the furthest town south that sold it. Now I don't remember what that was. I think it might have been off on 17 now, or over that way. But
yeah, I think I'm gonna go fill a bus up. I'm at half a tank, but I don't never drive it, so
yeah,
I didn't think about it.
Yeah,
But
I've been waiting for it to come down. I need to put about 60, 70 gallons in the bus. The 222 gallon tank.
Wow.
Hey, when we came home from New Jersey,
Yeah,
it was like $800, man. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, that was terrible, man.
Our shop manager, he's got a boat, and it's like that.
We kept passing places, and we're like, oh, it's $4.80 whatever here. Maybe it'll be a little cheaper the next place. Goes up 5 cents. Maybe it'll go down a little bit. Goes up 5 more cents.
That was funny that you say that. One morning I left, and I went by where I normally get fuel. But the only problem is it's cash only. It's only cash. And it was something like, this is when it was, no matter where you went, it was over $5,
Right.
And this was something like, it was like $4.75 or something. And I was like, man, that's pretty cheap, compared to everybody else. And so I said, well, I think I can do most of the day. So I go on down the road and I'm doing my stuff, and man, I need gas, I need the fuel lights now, comes on, and I'm like, shit, I should be able to make it back because I'm over where it's almost $6 every place where I'm at.
Wow.
So I'm like driving and like turning the truck off because I don't want to. I'm like, I know that I'm getting like really, really close. Of course, I get back over to where I left in the morning. And they had raised the price up to be all, to be the rest of the like everybody else, And I was like, well, thank God I didn't run out of fuel, but instead of putting myself through it, and then of course I'm in a place where I got to have cash for it, and
listen, you got to bust out some of that Matchbox money. Take it out of the right pocket, use it for the left.
Hey, you're cussing at him now.
I know.
Yeah, you sound like my wife. Yeah.
How much?
Well,
how much was gas before the new administration came in?
$2.30, $2.40.
Yeah,
we were at
189, I think.
I got a picture.
Yeah,
of the pump.
189.
Okay.
We were paying. I was paying I was paying like 270, 269 for diesel.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, call him whatever you want, but he definitely said it, Mr. Trump, when he said if Biden gets in, you'll be paying $4 or $5 for gas. These people telegraph their moves years in advance,
and they're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is listen. People just have to listen. That's all.
Yeah.
But they don't.
I heard a thing yesterday. Gas has not been under $3 a gallon since he's been in office.
No, I believe that.
Yeah.
but they'll tell you it's not their fault and they can't control gas prices and all this, that, and the other.
Saudis.
But then when it drops 20 cents, who's the first person to step up and take credit for that? Someone in the administration.
They just said this week that there was something with Saudi Arabia where they're cutting production, and of course our production's down. I think it was like 40-something%. There was no talk about increasing American production. We have plenty of it. We got plenty of crude.
We're not allowed to.
Oh,
there's no talk about that.
The guy's over there right now. What's that position? I can't think of the name of it, but he's over there right now trying to get him to pump some gas.
Yeah, we gotta,
And whatever decisions they make today won't affect our prices until 18 months from now.
We had the pipeline deal shut down. All that stuff. It was all in place. We got the natural resources. Our last governor didn't want to frack. There was no fracking. They wanted to keep Terry's landscape nice. They didn't want the ground shaken by him.
Right.
So they wouldn't.
Yeah, we didn't want drinking gasoline water.
All
what's
the
called
natural
flammable water.
gas. There's so much natural gas in this state. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But he was anti-fracking.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Tyler.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. I'm pretty
I'm going to do
tired.
the same. I'm exhausted.
You call it whatever you like.
Tyler.
It's a free country.
Hey, Tyler,
right?
You gonna be around tomorrow?
Yeah.
I got some pipes in.
Oh boy.
I'll help you tomorrow.
I'll be at the shop till like 3 something, and I got to run to the notary real quick. But then I'll be back in the afternoon. I'll text you when I get back from the notary. How about that?
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, have a good night.
See you guys.
All right, Tyler.
See you.
Take care.
Take care, gentlemen.
Terry. Keep up the good work, Terry.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it looks
I
good.
appreciate it.
You don't have to try
Thank
too
you very
hard. You
much.
just got to keep doing it. You're doing a good job.
That's it.
Hey,
That's it.
I
The
can't.
Le Mans
wait
is
to
coming
see-
up next. I'm going back and forth between all projects, man.
Nice.
I can't wait
See,
to
the
see you
key
have
is-
it out on the street.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that car out ready in a couple of weeks to a month.
Nice.
Nice. What else you got to do?
Yeah, man.
Well, the rest of the stuff is pretty much just like me doing, I got to put it back together as far as put the side windows in, the molding, from when it got painted and everything.
Tedious stuff.
So it's just little stuff like that. And then I got to get the exhaust system because we did the whole frame bracing kit. I just took the exhaust system off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to put that back on. I'm changing from pipes to MagnaFlow. I was talking to Watus, and my 69 Camaro has MagnaFlow, and I always like that sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does
So
sound
we're
good.
gonna go with that. And So you'll be seeing a MagnaFlow video real soon.
What'd you have? What pipes did you have on it before?
A company called Pipes.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
good stuff too, though. I like pipes also.
Pipes is awesome, but I think like as my ears get a little older, it's a loud car. I want to tone it down a little, make it a little bit more mellow
until you get in it.
I don't know, this stuff is so subjective. It's like saying, what speakers sound better, or because it all depends on your ears. I bought a Flowmaster system for my car. I bought it back in the 90s when I had some money, way before I was doing the car, and I believe they're the single chamber Flowmasters, and put it on the car, and I thought, oh, this is going to be way too loud. It's not. I don't think it is at all. I mean, and it's not annoying. If I really get in it, it opens up, but it sounds like a muscle car. It sounds like it's supposed to sound.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing I do like the Borla sounds phenomenal.
Borla's sick. I love Borla.
And there's one other company. Oh shit, they make the stainless steel mufflers. They were a Camaro I worked on.
I'm gonna get him back on pretty soon too. I talked to him at PRI.
Might have been MagnaFlow.
I
thought the bass in the MagnaFlow was phenomenal.
Yeah, MagnaFlow has a nice, deep, mellow sound.
Yeah, I like that.
What's nice with MagnaFlow is it's a mellow sound until you get in it. Then then yeah.
See, but I don't want it where you get in it and then it gets like raspy, where it has that rasp tone to it. That I don't want. That to me that's not cool.
Right.
No.
That 94 Sierra we had the LSA blower on the 6.2. We did a set of Borlas on that, and that sounded real good.
Yeah.
Borla's pretty awesome. Matter of fact, I think I might have to go and pick up a set of Borla.
Well, let me make a call before you do that.
All right, we'll talk tomorrow then about that, because like I'm just thinking about it, I'm like, wow.
Well, wait a minute. We may have to put in a group deal, because I'll get in for a set too.
Yeah.
I'll swap mine out.
Now here's another one we keep forgetting about is Coffin.
Yeah, Lou used to always talk about them.
Yeah, we had them on the show.
Right.
They sound pretty good too, but Boiler, they ain't playing.
Right. Boiler got the sound, man.
There was also at SKSpeed, there was the MagnaFlow. They said there was a place that was knocking off the MagnaFlow, and they sounded the same. But my buddy put them on two of his cars, on a Chevelle, a big block Chevelle, and on his Mustang. And damn, I didn't think it sounded like MagnaFlow at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Again, it's subjective, I guess. You have to have the same engine with the same.
That's what I'm saying. You have to have everything the same. Yeah,
you do. And when you go car to car, you don't have that.
No,
you just don't.
It's hard to say.
Boiler came out with the Mustang electric sound.
Oh yeah,
it sounds pretty good. Did you hear it, Terry, at SEMA?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, this conversation is over.
Hey, it sounded good. I mean, for electric car, what are you gonna do?
It didn't sound like what was it, the Challenger? It sounded like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night, gentlemen.
All right, bro. We'll see you.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, he won the award at SEMA for that sound for the Mustang.
I got lucky with the Honda. I had to change the muffler, and I wanted something a little performance sounding, but I didn't want that typical Honda. To me, that bumblebee farting in a can sound. I didn't want that, and I went online and went on YouTube and just looked up all kinds of different mufflers where people did the sound test, and I ended up getting a DC Sports muffler off of Amazon. It cost like $50, and I had to put it on right before going through emissions, because the factory muffler, first off, to replace that was going to be $120 just to get the muffler, and the muffler we had on it originally, it had eaten a hole in itself at the bottom, and so I got it all together right before going to emissions, and it had that. I wanted that sporty sound, but I didn't want it that annoying sound. And I got lucky. It has a little bit of a deep tone to it. It's got that sportiness sound, that Japanese or Euro car sound, but it's not that high pitch annoying. And actually, when I was sitting there, because here with the front wheel drive cars, if they have to put it on the rollers to test it, they have you get out. And there was a guy driving up behind me, and he asked, "Where'd you get that muffler? Did you just put it in? Where'd you get it from?" And I told him, and he said, "Man, that sounds nice." He goes, "It's just the right high pitch, but it's got a little bit of that deep tone to it, and it's not that annoying tone."
Is that a 4 or a V6?
It's a 4.
Okay, I was going to say that's one of the hardest engines to really make sound good.
Yeah,
try a 5-cylinder.
Well, they have their own unique sound. They sound kind of cool because they're unique. But the case in point, I have a 4-cylinder in my Fiat,
mm-hmm.
and I had my buddy an exhaust. I put a header on the car, which was the big thing, the hardest thing to find. And then he put a 2-inch pipe all the way down, straight to the back, and he put a thrush muffler on the back, right under the bumper. And I took it out for a ride, and it was way too raspy at the high end. So we changed it to a different one. It sounded good. I took it home. I should have changed it again because it's still like as I top out the gear, it can rasp, and I wish it didn't do that. But now I got it, so that's it. And they're very hard because of the power pulses of that engine. There's only 4 cylinders. You don't have a lot of mixing and overlap.
Need more compression.
Well, one of the things I'm kind of toying with, and we'll see if it works or not. I found a header out of the junkyard, but the downpipes were crimped because it had bottomed out. Yeah. So I went and got some stainless tubing from Jegs, and I haven't finished putting it together, but I'm thinking about putting on the dual downpipes. I'm thinking about putting an X pipe in there to see if it messes with the sound, or if it doesn't do anything, it doesn't do anything. But
so wait a minute, you want to take out one of the pipes?
No. It's on the header. You have the 4 pipes coming in, and it goes 4 to 2, and then the 2 to 1.
Okay.
And on the 2 to 1 on the downpipe, I'm thinking about crossing those on a X pipe.
2 to 1 converge in the collector, no?
Yeah, the cat.
Okay. Yeah. You could change the whole dynamic sound.
Yeah.
By doing that, but it may be in a way that you like. Who knows?
Well, that's what I want to see. Yeah. I look at it this way: if I have to rebuild the downpipe for it anyways, and if I've got to rebuild it, why not play with it, see what it does? Worst case scenario, if it's horrible, $27 and get a U pipe, cut it in half, and I can redo that downpipe.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it. Yeah, do it.
That's why they make cutoff wheels and welders.
Right.
Yeah.
Play with it. What the hell? What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be into something. You can sell that pipe, that car, the X.
Well, I've looked all over the internet trying to see if anybody's done it just to hear what it sounds like. I've seen it on inline 6 cars. I've seen it on I seen a video with the Lexus GS 400 where they did double X pipes with no muffler, and they did a single X pipe, no muffler, and then they did straight pipes, no X pipe, and each one of them it changed the tone.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, it's going to change it.
Yeah.
It's neat how this stuff works. It really is.
Yeah.
Think about the manufacturers like Magnaflow and them, how they do the research on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. We gotta have what's his name?
Yeah, the Magnaflow guy.
Rich.
Right.
Yeah, we'll get Rich back on. He's one of the guys that does. He's the what do you call it? The engineer.
He was like a product engineer, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he knows in and out. Yeah, we'll get him back on and kick some knowledge.
It'd be awesome to talk to.
Oh yeah, he's a good dude.
Man.
He's smart, man. He knows his stuff.
I want to see if they have a clearance bin, like a clearance section of stuff they didn't sell, because I need a cat back for my FJ.
Yeah, I still got to put the muffler back on my F-150.
Yeah.
When I'm driving and I come to a stop kind of quick, I can hear the backflow.
Oh.
Surprised don't cut off. All right, guys, I got to jump off. I got an early start.
All right, Lewis.
All right, so I'm due the exit. So everybody in Facebook and YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe this show, because this month we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and please help us out and share it with all your friends. And we'll be back next Thursday at 9:00 Eastern time. So come check us out live, and if you want to talk to us, let us know, and we'll get you on screen. All right. Good night.
All right, Lewis. Good night.
Take care.
Take care, Lewis.
Yeah.